Only the mountain has lived long enough to listen objectively to the howl of the wolf. My own conviction on this score dates from the day I saw a wolf die. We were eating lunch on a high-rim rock, at the foot of which a turbulent river elbowed its way. We saw what we thought was a doe fording the torrent, her breast awash in white water. When she climbed the bank towards us and shook out her tail, we realized our error. It was a wolf. In those days, we had never heard of passing up the chance to kill a wolf. In a second, we were pumping lead into the pack, but with more excitement than accuracy. When our rifles were empty, the old wolf was down and a pup was dragging a leg into impossible slide rocks. We reached the old wolf in time to watch a fierce green fire dying in her eyes. I realized then and have known ever since that there was something new to me in those eyes, something known only to her and to the mountain. I was young then and full of triggerage. I thought that because fewer wolves meant more deer, that no wolves would mean hunter's paradise. But after seeing the green fire die, I sensed that neither the wolf nor the mountain agreed with such a view. Aldo Leopold.
Aldo Leopold was born on January 11, 1887, to Carl and Clara Leopold. His father, who had a profitable dressmaking business, was able to take his family on vacations, including the summer trip to the Channel Islands in Michigan. And during these trips, his father instilled in Leopold an appreciation of nature. His father believed in only taking from the land what you need and nothing more. Passion for nature grew within Leopold through hunting, fishing, and personal artwork. And on one particular hunting trip, he had a life-altering experience that changed his view on game management. Leopold reevaluated his thought on less wolves meaning more deer and concluded that a balance was needed for equal part of nature. From a young boy, Leopold wanted to attend Yale University for his forestry program, founded by Gifford Pinchot, and striving to get into Yale, he graduated at the top of his class from public school in Burlington, Iowa, and attended Yale University in 1906. Graduated in 1909 with a Master in Forestry.
In 1909, Aldo Leopold found work in the U.S. Forest Service in the Arizona and New Mexico territories. From the beginning of working here, Leopold was a forest assistant in the Apache National Forest in the Arizona Territory. In 1911, Leopold was transferred to the Carson National Forest in northern New Mexico. Here in New Mexico, Leopold worked in creating the first national wilderness area in the Forest Service, the Gila Wilderness Area. In 1924, Leopold accepted a job offer at the University of Wisconsin working as an associate director. In 1933, Leopold was appointed chair of wildlife management at the University of Wisconsin. This department was a first in the university as well as first in the nation. Leopold lived in a two-story home close to the university with his wife and 5 children. All 5 of his children went on to follow in his footsteps as teachers and nature enthusiasts. Leopold purchased land in Wisconsin. It was at this beat-up farmland that Leopold and his family attempted to restore the land and put his theories to work. During this long process of restoration, Leopold wrote his award-winning book, A Sand County Almanac. With the successful ecological experiment at the shack underway, Aldo Leopold began writing his book, The Sand County Almanac, in 1937. Aldo was well respected in his field amongst his peers, but he longed for a pathway to educate the general public about wildlife management. The Sand County Almanac became that pathway. It included 41 essays, such as The Round River, Thinking Like a Mountain, and The Land Ethic. The Sand County Almanac went on to sell over 2 million copies after being published a year after his death. Leopold died of a heart attack in 1948 while battling a wildfire on his neighbor's property. Today, Leopold's home is an official landmark of the city of Madison.
In the winter of 1935, during the midst of the Great Depression and the Dust Bowl, Aldo Leopold began looking for hunting grounds next to the Wisconsin River. He eventually found a 60-acre plot of land with a chicken coop and the windswept land. This chicken coop became known as the family shack, and Aldo Leopold could see the potential in planting a few trees. Each spring, the Leopold family transplanted pine trees. Though 95% of the trees died in the early season, a new family ecological project began. Each spring, the Leopolds would do this, and it culminated in over 40,000 seedlings planted.
There are two spiritual dangers in not owning a farm. One is the danger of supposing that breakfast comes from the grocer, and the other that heat comes from the furnace.
Though the shack was not a permanent place of residence, the Leopolds often visited the shack during extended weekends, school vacations, and throughout the summer months. The family would labor hard to produce their own food at the shack, and in late summer that labor would pay off with a feast of fresh vegetables and birds brought home by all members of the family.
Land ethic is an ecological approach to building a relationship with nature, and not only will it help nature, but also build and expand the community. It is also based upon the principle that land and all the organisms living off the land have intrinsic value. Leopold suggested that not only humans should be a part of it, but non-humans as well from the biotic community. Aldo was able to come up with a way to enlarge the boundaries of the community and change the role of Homo sapiens.
In addition to the land ethic philosophy, the shack has become a protected monument that attracts and inspires thousands of environmentalists every year.
A thing is right when it tends to preserve the integrity, stability, and beauty of the biotic community. It is wrong when it tends to do otherwise. In short, a land ethic changes the roles of Homo sapiens from conquerors of the land community to plain members and citizens of it.
The Aldo Leopold Wilderness Research Institute was established in 1993 and is the only federal research group entirely focused on wilderness. They are dedicated to develop the scientific knowledge and tools needed to protect and preserve wilderness and the ecological and social values derived from wilderness and similar managed lands. Also, they want to communicate and facilitate the application of this knowledge to the wilderness management agencies and other user groups. Scientists at the Institute try to understand the character of wilderness ecosystems, the biological and social impacts of human activities on wilderness ecosystems, the role of wilderness in larger ecosystems, and the impact of different policy and management alternatives. The Institute is located on the University of Montana campus in Missoula. In 1982, Aldo's two sons created the Aldo Leopold Foundation. The Aldo Leopold Foundation sets out to change people's attitudes towards land through education and working with private landowners to change their land management decisions. A legacy center was built for the Aldo Leopold Foundation that meets the very strict leadership and energy environmental design green building rating system that very few buildings in the country have met. In the end, the foundation hopes to encourage people to endorse the idea of land ethic. Additionally, there is also a Aldo Leopold leadership program that sets out to train mid-career academic environmental scientists. This program takes in 20 scientists a year and increases their competency in environmentalism, with the intent that these trainees will go out in the community and pass on their new knowledge. Some of the topics include policy making, communicating with the media, working with NGOs, working with business leaders, and being environmental leaders in the local community. The Aldo Leopold Leadership Program has high hopes for the future and the spread of Aldo Leopold philosophies towards the environment.